in that regard, like guns, like it's just interesting to see like the variety of like ammunition and sorts of weapons and this, that. And yeah, which is interesting. And I really like the whole study of it rather than just being like, oh, lol, gun go bang, bang. And that's it. You know, like most people are like, oh, this is a cool gun. For me, it's like, oh, what kind of rounds do they use? Or what are these rounds used for? It's like all about the practicality and technicality of the things that fascinate me rather than what a gun looks like. So that's why, like, for a time, I was actually working at an airsoft store in Belgium for a while because of that interest, right? But then I left the job because the boss was being basically a dickhead and a little bit misogynistic. So I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I left that place, but that's why, like, they were very happy to have me because I have this very interest in things. And that's why when I was there, like working at that airsoft store, I was basically doing sales, right? So basically retail, but then airsoft stuff, right? So that goes from the technical side, like what kind of like MOSFETs, for example, is what you would call it, which are basically these chips that you can install into your mechanisms of an airsoft rifle or replica in this case to make them shoot more reliable, faster, that everything cycles more quickly. Things like that. But also the practicality of the guns that are there and how they work, what you need to be looking out for, this and that. So like that was basically my whole thing because I went in detail with that. And the people that, like the boss that I worked for, they were very happy to have me because, you know, it was also like kind of a selling point for them that they're like, oh, you want to see this chick in this airsoft thing that sells you stuff? And of course, like largely speaking, airsoft is a very male dominated thing. And I feel like they hired me purely for the sake because I was, you know, I was the only female there. So it was kind of funny that, like, when it clicked, it's like, oh, so that's why you hired me. Not because I knew shit, no, just because I was basically gooner bait for the dudes to come to so that they're like, oh my God, I want to see this chick and I want to be talking to this chick about airsoft and this and that. So that's why, yeah, I didn't really like the way that I was treated. So I left that place. It was like, again, like the people that I did like spend time with and they try to sell things with, of course, there were like some jokes here and there and whatever, which I just laughed away, which is fine. But there were also like girlfriends of the guys that went there that saw them talking to me, and they, you know, they kind of saw like how their boyfriends were talking way more interestingly with me rather than with their own respective girlfriend. And I looked at their like there was this one thing where the girlfriend was looking awkwardly like at me, like not really awkwardly but more like judgingly. And to me it's like I was also looking back at her because I know what's going on, I understand how you feel. So I was just standing there, and while the guy was shooting, like, because we had a shooting range, like testing a gun, like I looked at her and I shrugged, so like giving her like the confirmation, like I know what's going on, but I'm not doing really anything. I'm just doing my job, you know. But it was quite something. The guys were very happy to see me there for other reasons than the airsoft things. It was like, did I enjoy the job? Sure, but not from those experiences, basically, and that's why I left. Otherwise, I would still be there, 100%. Like, because it is very fun to do. It was very fun to do the sales there, even when I was busy, right? I loved it when it was super busy, that I had so many people just lining up, like testing stuff and this and that, and also for like gear. I also had to do explanations for that, where people are like, yeah, what kind of gear do I want? And there were a lot of things, like a lot of new people also that I tried to sell them everything, right? I try to sell them everything as much as I can, but with the idea of what their budget is. That's the first thing that I always ask to someone, because like the boss that I work for, maybe I should just change the screen to, what happened is, the boss basically wanted to make as much sales as possible, right? So as many sales as possible. He said like, yeah, I don't care what they buy. I don't care for this. I don't care for that. They just basically wanted to have as much money as possible, to which I'm like, I'm not really for that. That's not how I work. So I did my own take on that, which is just basically listening to what the customer wanted. The first thing that I asked, like, especially when new people come in, they ask me, how, like, I would like to start getting into airsoft. What do you recommend? The first thing, that very first question that I ask, what is your budget? That's it. So I asked them, like, what is your budget? And then I go like this amount, that amount. And then according to that, then I would recommend them certain things that will last them a lifetime, basically, rather than just selling things that are just temporarily there that cost a lot of money, but that won't last as long. I always recommended like the higher quality stuff. Sure, it will also be a little bit more money, but at least they will have a lifetime supply or lifetime longevity of their replica rather than just buying the coolest whatever weapon that they initially thought of getting, which was a shit brand anyway, and then, have issues with the guns and need repairs like every so often. So that's basically like the things that I would like point out so that they know what are my options and what should I be looking for. And that's basically how I did my sales.